Alright? I want to give our praises to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Haraka Kodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Salutations to the men of the hopeful and sincere elect. This is Makazar from Trend.com. Just want to do the edification for the elect's sake. And the name of this video would be "And They Reigned with the Lord 1,000 years." Alright, taken from the book of Revelation chapter 20. Alright, so I'll just get straight into it. It's Revelation chapter 20 verse 1. "And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit, and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold upon the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Now that devil and Satan, that wasn't talking about spiritual Satan. That was actually talking about, right, the so-called white man. Right? I was actually talking about the so-called white man. Alright? And when you read Revelation 12 will give you that. It tell you that the dragon was ready to slay the man-child as he was ready to born. That was Esau when he was back there as the Roman Empire. Alright? When he was in the Roman Empire, that is when he wanted to slay the man-child as soon as he was ready to be born, which was Yahushai. But now, that dragon that was wounded to death, which the beast and the dragon in Revelation 13 is the same thing that was wounded. One of his head was wounded to death. And he was healed. That was the Roman Empire coming back, as the so-called white man coming back. Alright? So that beast that was cast in that bottomless pit, that was actually the so-called white man after he was taken down during the time of the Roman Empire up until the time of the Borgias, when they came back into power. Alright? Going on. It says, "And cast him in the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled." Now remember, verse 3 spoke about 1,000 years, because we're going to come back to verse 3. It says, "And after that he must be loose a little season." Alright? Because at that point, guess what? He was cast down. He was like the dust of the field, and he was in slavery. Because part of being cast in the bottomless pit, being cast into a pit, is being enslaved. Alright? Particularly under the Moors. The Moors used to have Edomite slaves. Alright? Going on. Verse 4. "And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushai, and for the word of Yahweh, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither received the mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Yahushai 1,000 years. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that had part of the first resurrection. On such the second death had no power. But they shall be priests of Yahweh and of Mashiach, and they shall reign with him 1,000 years." Verse 7. "And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them to the battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea." So now it says that Satan will be in prison for 1,000 years. And then it comes down to say the elect will reign with Yahushua 1,000 years. And after the 1,000 years be expired, then Satan will come back and reign upon the earth again. Now in church, what they will teach you is that when the Lord comes and the Lord takes up the elect, they're going to reign with Yahushua 1,000 years, and then Satan going to be loose upon the earth to run free for a while. No, that is not what we're talking about. Just remember, he spoke about two different 1,000-year periods. One of the 1,000-year period was actually 1,000 years. The other one actually talking about forever. Alright? And I'm going to prove it. Now when you go back to Revelation 20:3, it says, "And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled." Now Revelation does something, it jumps back and forth. So when it says the 1,000 years were fulfilled, this is the 1,000 years which were fulfilled down in verse 7. Verse 7, and when the 1,000 years are expired. So what John did, John jumped back to talking about the dragon. So when that 1,000 years were fulfilled was during the 12th century, during the Borgia years, and not talking about after when Yahushua comes. All right? Because when he said he come back to bring the nations, to bring them into war, that is what he's doing right now. Making them feel like, North Korea all bad propaganda going against Iran. Because America is the one who pushing all these propaganda and bringing the nations into this warlike state of mind. All right? America is the one who doing that. And all the nations going to come against and shoot along with fire. Thus saith the Lord. But that 1,000-year period, not talking about Yahushua going to come, deliver us, and we're going to be with Yahushua for 1,000 years. And then, Yahushua, after that 1,000 years, Satan going to be loose and then reign again. The scripture said the Most High, his throne shall be an everlasting kingdom. Now, an everlasting kingdom can't end for 1,000 years. Then it wouldn't be everlasting. All right? That could never happen. Revelation 20:7, and when the 1,000 year was expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, talking about Russia, to gather them to the battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. All right? Now jumping over to Daniel, the book of Daniel. This is Daniel. Daniel chapter 7, verse 25. It says, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, because in the scripture say he will be loosed. He will speak great words against the Most High and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, because he can put to death during martial law. Revelation 12:12. All right, and they shall be given into his hand until the time and the dividing of times. Wasn't Daniel 7 speaking about the final beast, which was the Roman Empire? Daniel 7 was speaking about the Roman Empire. Because when you read verse 24, it says, and the 10 horns out of his kingdom are 10 kings. Didn't the scripture Revelation 13 say the dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns? So in Daniel 7, the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns speaking about the Roman Empire. But in Revelation, the beast with the 7 heads and 10 horns speaking about Satan. That's the same prophecy, just different timelines. All right? Because when you come back here, Revelation 20:3, it says, and cast into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal over him, that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years shall be fulfilled. After that he must be loose a little season. And jumping on to 7, he says, and when the 1,000 years were expired, Satan was loose out of his prison. So now for that little season, power was given into his hand. All right? So in Revelation 20:3, he didn't have power. The Most High took it away, but gave it back to him after the 1,000 years, which was when they came back as the Borgias during the Renaissance period. That is when the 1,000 years was fulfilled. That was the 1,000 years fulfilling for the beast to be loose out of the bottomless pit, to be loose out of his captivity. Speaking about the nation of Esau, you so-called whites. Going on. Verse 26 in Daniel 7, it says, but the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end. Yeah. So guess what? Back then his dominion was taken away during the Roman Empire, and now we're going to be taken away again. And the kingdom and dominion and greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given unto the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominion shall serve him. So the scripture says the kingdom shall be an everlasting dominion. But when you jump back to Revelation 20, the scripture says what? Revelation 20:6. Blessed and holy is he that had part in the first resurrection. On such the second death hath no power. But they shall be priests of Yahweh and of Mashiach, and they shall reign with him 1,000 years. So now Daniel 7 saying they're going to be an everlasting kingdom. All right? But in Revelation, it said they're going to reign with 1,000 years. Now that 1,000 years actually speaking about forever and not for a short period. So let me prove that. Let me prove it talking about 1,000 years. Forever, the 1,000 years talking about forever. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 46. Start of verse 45. It says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to keep the commandments and his statutes which he command thee. And all this shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So the Lord's saying these curses are going to be upon Israel forever, right? But according to the scriptures, the Lord said that he's going to take us out of this lower state we're in. Part of the curse is being in this lower state. And I'm going to prove it. So he says the curse is going to be upon us forever. But this is Revelation chapter 22 verse 3. And there shall be no more curse. But the throne of Yahweh and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servant shall serve him. So he says there shall be no more curse. Alright? There ain't gonna be no more curse. Alright? There will be no more curse. So these curses, when the scripture says these curses shall be upon us forever, it means they shall be upon us for a long period of time. But Revelation 22:3 says there shall be no more curse, which proves that when the Lord said forever, it was not talking about forever or always continuing, but for a long period of time. So when the scripture said they shall reign with Yahweh 1,000 years, that means they would reign with Yahweh for forever, and not just for 1,000 years. Alright? This is Revelation chapter 7 verse 16. They shall hunger no more, to prove that they're going to be no more curse. Because the scripture says we will serve our enemies and everything. And they shall hunger no more, neither shall thirst anymore, neither shall the sun light on them, nor the heat. Means what? We ain't going to be afflicted anymore. We ain't going to be going in slavery, slaving away in the hot sun for our slave masters anymore. We ain't going to be oppressed anymore. Alright? For the Lamb, which is in the midst of the throne, shall feed them, and shall lead them unto the living fountains of water. And Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. So we ain't gonna be oppressed anymore. So that is what it means by there shall be no more curse. And when the Lord said it should be upon us forever, means it will be upon us for a long period of time. So that forever wasn't talking about literally forever, but meaning a long period of time. The scriptures have some that talk about figuratively or metaphoric speech. Alright? But the dragon, he was bound for 1,000 years. The scriptures talk about the mystery of the Most High, and the scriptures was written this way so that only the elect could understand this word and not 2/3 of Israel. This is Daniel 7 verse 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. So that's going back to Revelation 20, when it says what? Verse 20, chapter 20, verse 6. Blessed and holy is he that had part in the first resurrection. On such the second death hath no power, but they shall be priests of Yahweh and Mashiach, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. Which rightly was forever and forever, matching up with Daniel. Because Daniel and John basically was breaking down the same beast, but in different timelines. Alright? That is what was happening there. Same beast in different timelines. Now when you go down to Revelation 20:7, it says, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loose out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are on the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them to battle, the number of whose is of the sand of the sea. Which really is the Most High gathering them to destroy them. Alright? This is Joel chapter 3 verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Prepare war and wake up the mighty men. Let all the men draw near, and let them come. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about, till of course thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Let the heathen be wakened, and come to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, which the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, the valley of judgment, of over there in the Persian Gulf. Alright? That's where all the armies gathering right now. The Most High gonna judge them right there. Alright? And there will I sit and judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get ye down, for the press is full, and the fat overflows. For their wickedness is great. Multitudes and multitudes in the valley of decision. And that is why it said in Revelation 7, it says, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. So all these nations got in over there right now. It says, for the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Alright? What I'm talking about, that talking about when them nuclear missiles go off, all the smoke and ashes gonna block out the atmosphere. As to say, you wouldn't see the sun shining through this, the thick smoke. That's what the scripture said, the day of the Lord is thick darkness. Alright? That is what it's speaking about. Thick darkness from all them nuclear missiles. And the video that on the screen, I'll press play a little while to show you a little simulation of what can happen in the day of the Lord, which is Revelation 20, Revelation 18, Revelation 17, Revelation 8. Alright? Joel 3, Isaiah 14, Jeremiah 51, Jeremiah 50. All these scriptures, Isaiah 34, happening. Alright? Going on. It says, verse 9, Revelation 20 and 9. It says, and they went upon the breadth of the earth, and compassed the camp of the saints round about, and the beloved city. And fire came down upon them out of heaven, and devoured them. Yes, they didn't come against us during martial law, but the Lord gonna stand up for us. Verse 10. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophets are, and there shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. Now that forever and ever just means for a long period of time. Alright? Because you can't cast somebody into fire and burn them forever and ever. That does mean the smoke gonna go up for a long time out of America. Alright? Ashes and sulfur gonna be there for a long period of time. Alright? Let me read. This is Malachi. This is Malachi chapter 4 verse 1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the wicked, yea, all the proud, all they that do wicked, all the wicked. So that I'll read over. Malachi chapter 4 verse 1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith Yahweh of hosts, and it shall leave them neither root nor branch. So the Lord said the day gonna come that gonna burn like an oven. Alright? Which is that nuclear warfare. That is that nuclear warfare, because the scripture said in Revelation 20 and 9, the beast was cast into that lake of fire. It was burnt up. So when the beast was bound, that was during the time with Septimius Severus, when Septimius Severus began taking down the Roman Empire. And then when they came back, when it was loose, was during the time of the Borgias, which was the time of the Renaissance, which was roughly around 1,000 years. Alright? And the little season is from 1,000 years until now. And when Yahweh shall take them down, that's gonna be when the kingdom be established until the first resurrection. Alright? Now, going back to Revelation chapter 20 verse 5, it says, but the rest of the dead lived not until the 1,000 years was finished. This was the first resurrection. Now that 1,000 years where he was talking about, the 1,000 years were finished, they actually gonna be building up our kingdom for a long period of time. Alright? They're gonna be building up our kingdom. Yeah, they're going to be building up our kingdom for a long period of time. All right? And after that kingdom, they're going to be allowed to go back and, and live in their land. But the so-called white man, after that time frame, going to be destroyed. All right? And just to prove that is what they say, the nations shall live not again, because when you're in slavery, basically you're not living. You're restricted to do, wherever you desire to do. This is Isaiah chapter 60. I'll go straight to the point. Verse 10. It says, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor I have mercy. I have had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually, that they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish, yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. So now our kingdom gonna be established by these nations. So they're gonna be enslaved under us. The scripture says he shall give us power over the nations. So after our kingdom be established, the first resurrection, after they build back our kingdom, then they're gonna go back into their own land. So that is what it means by the nation, the rest of the dead live not until 1,000 years were fulfilled. All right. Let's wait a second. Right. So going back to Revelation 20 and 11, it says, and I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away. And this is during the time of Revelation 12 and 7, we said a great war in heaven. Backing up with Revelation 19:11, where they're showing Independence Day and all these movies back to Los Angeles, when they're fighting against the so-called aliens. That is the war in heaven, not Satan fighting against the Most High. That could never happen. All right. And there was no place found for them. Verse 12, Revelation 20 and 12. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before Yahweh, and the books were open, and another book was open, which is the book of life. And they were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up them which were in it, and they were judged every man according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life were cast into the lake of fire. And that talking about when the Lord coming to destroy America. All right? The dead that were in it, which the Lord gonna deliver the elect and 2/3 of Israel and 1/3 of Israel. All right? And the Lord just might, bring like Nathan, these men, I believe the Most High might just deliver them, just to destroy them, just to, as he said, they were cast into the lake of fire, to cast them back down into the nuclear holocaust. Make them feel they're gonna be delivered and then cast them back down. This is Daniel chapter 7 verse 9. And I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the ancients of days did sit. So all the thrones were cast down now, because Yahweh Shai, when the scripture said he came with many crowns, he came and destroyed all the nations. All right? And the ancients of days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and his hair of his head like as pure wool. His throne was like a fiery flame, and his wheels a burning fire, which are the chariots of the Most High, so-called UFOs. All right? A fiery stream issued and came from before him, which was that light, that bright light emanating from the Lord. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him, and the judgment was set, and the books were opened. So that's just showing you that Daniel and John were speaking about the same thing, just different timelines. And at some points, the same timeline. And I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake, I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. Now this beast was actually talking about the Roman Empire. But what Daniel was speaking about was the Roman Empire then and the Roman Empire now. Because in verse 11, he was speaking about the Roman Empire now. And as concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a long season. And their lives were prolonged for a long season, backing up with Revelation 20 and 5. They lived not again until 1,000 years were fulfilled. Because the scripture said in let me read it. This is Isaiah 14. Revelation, Isaiah 14 chapter Isaiah chapter 14 verse 18. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one of them in their own house. And that is after that 1,000-year period where they're building up our kingdom. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as a raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, and as a carcass trodden under feet. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. So the Lord's saying that, guess what? The so-called white man, after that 1,000 years, when the nations are going to get their rest, when they're going back to their land, the so-called white man going to be destroyed, because the Lord said, prepare slaughter for his children. So the scripture said in Obadiah, the scripture said the house of Esau going to be cut off by slaughter. So you so-called white people, you Edomites, you're going to be destroyed with a great slaughter after that 1,000-year period, where the nations, going back to Daniel, all right? Daniel 7 and 12, we said it prolonged for a long season. After that 1,000-year period, because you're going to be in slavery too, the nation's going to be allowed to go back in their kingdom, but so-called white man going to be destroyed. All right? Going on, verse 13, Daniel 7 and 13. And I saw in the night vision, and I behold, one like the Son of Man, came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and language should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, and shall not pass away, and his kingdom which shall not be destroyed. So guess what? If the scripture is saying that the Lord coming to subdue all nations in Daniel 7, how the hell could Revelation 20 and 7 mean that Satan coming to rule after the Lord ruled for 1,000 years? That ain't talking about that. That is jumping. Revelation 3 and Revelation 7 is just jumping. So John, after he read Revelation 3, he read from 4 to 6, and then verse 7, he jumped back to talking about the 1,000-year period for the beast. But from 4 to 6 was speaking about after the beast was taken down. That was speaking about after the beast was taken down. That was two different timelines leading up. All right? Going back to Revelation 20, verse 13, and it says, and the sea gave up the dead which was in it, and death and hell delivered up them which were in them, and they were judged every man according to his works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death, because the scripture said, blessed is he that made it into the first resurrection. The second death had no power over him. Mean they're gonna be delivered. They're gonna be delivered from the destruction. All right, they're gonna be delivered from the destruction to come. All right, just bear with me a second. This is Revelation chapter 11, verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. Alright, that is what I mean by death and hell gave up the dead that were in them. The Most High took them out. And the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake was slain 7,000 men, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the God of heaven. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. So that was actually talking about World War III. So that war in heaven is gonna lead up to World War III. The death and hell cast into the lake of fire that is during World War III. America gonna be destroyed. Alright? That is America gonna be destroyed. Because the scripture said that the sun shall not give their light. Alright? That is scripture said the sun shall not give their light, neither the moon. It says Revelation 8 verse 10. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a star, a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp. And it fell. Matter of fact, I'll play the video while I'm reading.
Atlanta, Georgia, Bakersfield, California, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Buffalo, New York, Billings, Montana, Columbia, Missouri.
It says Revelation chapter 8 verse 10. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star, right, from heaven, burning as a lamp. And it fell upon the third part of the rivers, and upon the fountains of the waters. And the name of the star was called Wormwood. And the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. Now the reason why it's called wormwood, because wormwood means bitterness, that is talking about the water gonna be polluted, so that you can't drink the water. Alright? And because the water polluted, men gonna die of thirst. Alright? Verse 12. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the star. And as soon as the third, and so as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for the third part of it, and night likewise. Because this simulation here is showing you when them nuclear missiles go up, the scriptures talk about looking for in the third part of the waters. Alright? The scripture said that you're gonna, out of the serpents, you're gonna come forth a cockatrice, and you're gonna be a fiery flying serpent. When the nuclear missiles going up, you're gonna look just like this, a fiery flying serpent. The flames behind it looking like the snake wiggling. And all that ash and all that smoke gonna block all the heaven. So when the beast was in prison, that was drained from the time when Septimus Severus took him down. If you look at this image, you see the image looking really dark. Yes, if you could see the sky looking foggy, because the smoke and the ash block all the heavens. Alright? But when the beast was loose for a short season, was only when the sun stood down. And when Yahushua come, Lord Yahushua gonna take them down. Alright? The Lord Yahushua gonna take them down. When you read Jeremiah 4 verse 23, it says before them was the Garden of Eden. Now look at this. Alright? And in Joel 2, it said before there was the Garden of Eden, but after them a great wilderness. So the scripture, the day of the Lord is far, but with nuclear missiles. Alright? And that is what going on. When the scripture says in Isaiah 34 verse 4, and the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heaven shall roll together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down, as a leaf falling from a vine, and as a fallen fig tree. Alright? So that nuclear missile or the mushroom cloud is gonna be engulfed like a scroll. Gonna come down and destroy the third part of the city, and death and hell are gonna be cast into the lake of fire. But before America be destroyed in thermonuclear warfare, the Lord gonna deliver the elect. Alright? And the rest gonna be destroyed in that nuclear warfare. So when the scripture said that Satan gonna be loose for a short period,
after the Lord reigned for 1,000 years. No, that wasn't meaning that the Lord gonna reign for 1,000 years and then Satan gonna come and rule after. No, the scripture said his kingdom gonna be everlasting. All right, the scriptures were just jumping, and that was leading up onto nuclear destruction, all right, on these nations. So with that, hope this was edifying. I want to give our praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Haraka Kodash. Give double honors to the apostles of great Milson that rule well. Salutations to the men of the hopeful and sincere elect. This is Makazar saying Shalom.